Yes, good morning, children of class 10. I have already completed one chapter on power sharing, where we have seen what is power sharing, and I have started with the chapter on federalism. I have talked about what do you mean by a federal state. Sorry, yes, there should be a change, my dear. This is for class 10. And I have talked to you about what are the features of a federal state, and what do you mean by a federal state. I have given you the example of the best federal state in the country is USA, and I have told you that why you should not write India to be a federal state. While giving the example of a federal state, you should not give the example of India. Why? I have told you, because India has characteristics of both a federal and a unitary state, for which we call it to be a mixture of it's a federal structure with a unitary spirit. Now we will see that in a federal state, as I have told you, that in a federal state there is division of powers. Division of powers. And this division of powers takes place between two sets of government, that is the central government or the union government, and then you have the state governments. So how is division of powers brought about in a federation? How? We know that every country has a constitution. The constitution is the supreme law of the land. So it is the constitution which actually makes a distribution of powers among the two sets of government which you find in a federation. So how usually the powers are divided in a federation? You know, the powers are actually divided in the form of lists. There are three lists. First one, union list. From the name itself you can understand, here you see union, here you see union. That means the central government has power over this list. The central government has power over this list, which means that the subjects which are included in this union list, it is the central government who will have the power to make laws over those subjects. In the union list, whatever subject is there, the central government will have the power to make laws over those lists. And one more thing which is very important, it is that the union list, you know, it includes subjects of national importance. National importance means for the whole country. Like for example, you have finance, you have defense, you have foreign affairs, you have trade, foreign relations, things like that. The subjects which are of national importance, that means which matter the whole country, they are included within the subject of union list, and the central government exercises power over those subjects. Next comes the state list. From the name itself you can understand the state government exercises power over this list, state government, and it includes subjects of local importance. Example, like agriculture, sanitation, and the others. That means subjects, why they are known as local importance? Because every state has its own problems. And for example, if I tell you, in your locality, no proper water supply is coming, or the electricity is making a problem, or the roads in your area, they are not properly constructed. So what you will do, you will go to the center, you will meet the Prime Minister to go and report like this. People will think that you are mad and they will catch you and they will put you into something mental asylum, because this is not a matter which is to be seen by the central government. It is a matter of your local importance, and as it is a matter of your local importance, you have to go to the state government. The state government is responsible for all your local needs or your local problems. So the state government exercises power over matters of or subjects of local importance, which means that the state government makes laws over subjects which are actually included within the state list. Next one comes the concurrent list. And for the concurrent list, both central and state government exercises power. Both central and state government. It's a common list. It's a common list, common subjects. For example, education, health, things like that. Which means that the subjects which are included within this concurrent list, both the central and the state government can make laws whenever required. For example, you take, at present it is a situation of pandemic. So as it is common for the whole country, so the central government will make laws over it. But if it would have been, for example, the Amphan which had come, it has hit mainly West Bengal. So whatever measures will be taken, it will be taken by the state government. It will depend that whether the issue is for the whole country. If it is for the whole country, then the central government will take up the matter. And if it is for a particular state, then the state government will take up the matter. So these are the three lists amongst which the powers are divided by the constitution among the two sets of government. But there is one more list which is known as the residuary list, which means that any topic which is left out here in these three top lists, if it is not included in any of the three lists, automatically it goes to this list, which is the fourth list, that is the residuary list, and the central government exercises power over this list. Central government. And if I give you example, for example, you see that cyber laws which you have, these are included within the residuary list because it does not fall within any of the three lists. So in a federation, powers are actually divided between the central and the state government by the constitution in such a manner, because in a federation you will have to find division of powers. This is the principle upon which a federal country is based upon. Next, I will come to another topic which will be a concluding part of this chapter. That means federalism, a federal state can be of two types. So federation is of two types. One is coming together federation and one is holding together federation. And for making you understand better, I will use two examples. One, for coming together federations, I will use the example of USA, and for holding together federation, I will use the example of India. Because according to me, the best way of understanding or explaining or learning is by examples. You see that USA, it's known as United States of America. United States of America, which means that several states together, they came together, they formed the huge continent of America. I'll give you one example here. You know, USA basically, it was actually what happened, you know, it was a combination of as many as 13 states. It's a combination of 13 states. Clear? And these states were independent states. That means they were independent, but all of them were under colonial rule. Colonial rule means the British has formed colonies here. Although they were independent, all of them were independent, but the Britishers had formed their colonies there. You have studied this part in history with regard to American War of Independence. There you have heard about it. That means they were, in total there were 13 states, and all states means countries, and all these countries were independent. But what was the problem? Well, the problem was that these countries were actually under colonial rule. And alone, every state alone, individually alone, these states cannot fight against colonial rule. So what did they decide? They decided that let us all come together as a united power. They came together, they formed USA, and then what did they do? They had removed colonial, they have removed colonial rule from there. And that means coming together, that means these states were already independent, but they came together for the fulfillment of one basic objective. And what was that basic objective? To remove the colonial rule. Clear? That means these states were independent. They came together. Coming together means they came together and they formed one single power. And after forming this single power, what did they do? They had one common objective. And what was that objective? To remove the British colonies. And they did so. So after the colonies were removed, after the Civil War of Independence, so these independent states, they did not go back. What did they do? They formed into one of the most powerful continents of the world, which is known as the United States of America. This is known as coming together. That means they came together for a definite purpose and they formed one group, one country, one continent, and that only they existed. This is one form of federation. Another one is holding together federation. Take for the example of India. You know, during independence, you know that by 1947, when India became independent, what had happened? India got divided into partition came up. Partition came up, that means India and Pakistan, separate states were formed. This was one problem. Not only that, several states were there in India, like for example, take for the state of Hyderabad, take for the state of Jammu and Kashmir, take for the state of Manipur, take for the state of Andhra Pradesh, many other states in this way, Punjab. You know, they were all princely states. Princely states, that means they were ruled by the rulers. So after independence, the rulers of these states, you know, they were not ready to come and become a part of India. So what happened? You have heard the names of big leaders like Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, Jawaharlal Nehru, all played a very dominant role. And what did they do? They have convinced the rulers of these states to come and build one single nation. And as a result, what you see India now is several states who were not independent, remember, they were all directly under the rule of the British. So they were not independent, they came together and they formed one independent nation which is known as India. So here the difference is that these states which had formed USA, they were already independent and they had one common objective. But when India was formed, the states were not independent. They came together and they formed one independent nation which is known as India. That means holding together federation. So with this, we come to the end of the chapter on federalism. And please go through parts, important parts, read thoroughly and let the lockdown situation normalize, and I will provide you with all the necessary data. Thank you very much.